Welcome to the third week of the Business Management Capstone course. First of all, I'd like to thank each team for meeting with me within the past 2 weeks. They were great sessions, excellent questions. Hopefully I was able to answer all of them. If I was not, as always, feel free to reach out to me. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, we have the announcements for week 3, which covers what assignments you should be working on. But instead of starting here, I like to go through the weekly modules just to make sure everyone is actually accessing the weekly modules. So I'm going to go ahead and click on weekly modules. I'm just going to go ahead and click on the week 3 chapter 1 link. Okay, the format for the module should always be the same. We start out with the learning objectives that you want to review. Then you're going to want to scroll down and look at the assignment summary. Obviously you're watching the week 3 overview video right now. For this week, for the module review, you want to read Chapter 1, review the PowerPoint presentation for Chapter 1, and of course review LearnSmart documentation if you have never used LearnSmart before. I'm assuming probably most of you, if not all of you, have though. And then you get down to the assignments. The course participation, which is a discussion board for a competitive advantage. Then the Chapter 1 LearnSmart that you must complete. The decisions for the practice year 7 within Globus, which you should be familiar since you already completed the practice year 6 last week. And then there's a quiz on Chapter 1. Next we have the Module 3 course content. Please make sure you review this information. So if I go ahead and click on it. So here's where you can access the PowerPoint. There's also a link on the left-hand side to get to it also. Here's the biggest one I want to really make sure I point out this week. Is key financial ratios, how to calculate them, and what they mean. I've seen a lot of questions on the discussion board relating to how items are calculated. So this information should really assist you. So if you simply just click on where it says click here to open or save the document. And this gives you topics such as gross profit margin, net profit, total return on assets, so on and so forth. So definitely spend some time with this document and make sure you understand it. As always, if you ever have any questions, please reach out to me or your team members. That's why you have a team. Let me go ahead and jump back to Blackboard. So what we also have within the content folder is information about LearnSmart if you haven't used it before, and very straightforward. And the same global simulation information that you should have already reviewed by now, but I posted there just to make sure that it's catching your attention if you have not. Keep in mind, we already spent 2 weeks on Globus, so you should at least have a general understanding of the simulation. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the week 3 module. Next, we have the course participation competitive advantage assignment. So basically, you're going to choose one of these companies within step 1. And I may actually add companies, so if it looks a little bit different after this video, it's probably just where it's going to be a document that you open up to review all the companies. I'm just going back and forth about it, but most likely I will, because I want there to be more to choose from. Then you have step 2, you want to perform research on the chosen company, whichever one you pick. Okay, and then you have to answer the below questions. You know, how does the company set itself apart from its competitors? Does it compete on price, quality, service, or innovation? How does the company communicate these competitive advantages to customers? And then the last step is step 3. Once you have created your initial post, you must make a comment on at least 2 other posts. And when I'm saying comment, I don't want to just see great job, good point. You know, I want to see some substance to your comment. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Why is that? I just don't want to see, hey, great job, and that's it. Okay, moving on, you have your LearnSmart. Simply just click on the link, and it should open up where you're going to read the textbook. As you're reading, you're going to be asked questions for you to respond to. Next, we have the Chapter 1 quiz. Should be very straightforward. And last but not least is the practice round year 7 within Globus. Like I said, this should be very familiar to you. You already completed year 6. You got to spend 2 weeks on it. So this is going to year 7. I've had a lot of questions within the discussion board from last week about the decisions and how they are graded. And this is how it is, okay? So if your team makes decisions, say everyone on your team makes decisions within Globus. Okay, you could do it together, you can do it individually, but you're making decisions. And you're doing well. Maybe you're not top of the pack, but I can see that the decisions you are making are having an impact. You're moving forward. You will always get 100%. Now, if I could see your decisions make no sense and you're going in the reverse direction as everyone else, your team will receive a 0. Now, if you're wondering, what if you have a team of 3, 2 people are making decisions, one person isn't even responding to emails, let alone communicating in any form, then please just notify me. The 2 team members who are making the decisions will receive credit. The other one will not. It's that simple. That's on me. Don't ever stress about another team member. If you tried working with them and they won't have it, then just communicate to me and I'll take it from there. With that said, I do hope all teams will work together. Like I said, in the past, only one team last semester, I truly had issues the entire semester. For the most part, after a few weeks, everyone was able to get on the same page. So. All right, moving on. So I went through the different assignments for this week. If you notice on the left-hand side, under the weekly modules, you have a link to the discussion board, Globus information, Learn Smart, the quizzes, and cases. Okay, well, we don't have a case assigned yet. That's coming though. These are just a quick link so you don't have to dig through the weekly module to get to the assignment. With that said, I do hope you do go through the weekly module first to make sure you touch on the learning objectives, the assignment summary, the course content for that module, so on and so forth. After that, then by all means, use those quick links to save you time. That's what they're there for. So now let's go ahead and jump into Globus. Okay, now I have Globus open. The biggest mistake that most teams make is they get comfortable with the decisions, but what they do not do is review the reports. Notice at the top, it says Decisions and Reports menu. So the very first part is the decisions. Everyone made decisions last week. Great job. And you didn't really have much to look at yet. Now you do. So if I scroll down here, now I can camera and drone journal. Here's the information you should be looking at. So each team has access to this. If I click on Scoreboard.
Here we have the Year 6 Scoreboard. Normally the first question students have is, what does it mean by investor expectation score, best in industry score, and weighted average score? If you scroll to the bottom of the page, it details each and every category and how it is defined. So make sure you review that information. So let's go back up top. As you can see, for Year 6, Company D came out of the gate fast. They have a weighted average score of 107. Great job, Company D. And the rest are either in the 90s or in the 80s, which is to be expected. You're going to have a range. The only one that I would say I would have concern would be is Company F. But even with that said, it's just a practice Year 6. So everyone's trying different strategies. So it's really no big deal. All I would be looking for from Company F is improvement. So for the Year 7 Scoreboard, as long as you're at 50, 55, or 60, that's fine. That shows growth. That means they're moving in the right direction. Keep in mind, after practice Year 7, all the scores will reset and we start all over with the true Year 6. So if I scroll down, you're going to see the game to date scoreboard. Everything's going to be the same, except you're going to notice that Company F actually received a bonus point. So they're at 48 instead of 47. So that's going to be the only difference, is the bonus points for the game to date, since this is only Year 6. Next, I want you to look at the page 2, earnings per share, return on equity, and stock price. So for earnings per share, you're going to see that Company D is highlighted. The highlight means that it's the best in the industry. So the highest earnings per share. The bold is that you met the expectation of the investors. So Company A, B, D, and E all met expectations. So even D is highlighted, but A, B, D, and E all did a great job. So C and F would be the only concern. Next, we have return on equity. Look, at everyone met expectations. Great job, except for Company F. But that's okay. Like I said, this is just practice here. Company D obviously was the best in industry at 53.1 for return on equity. Next, we have stock price. Then again, everyone met expectation except Company F. We're not worried about that yet. We'll give them a few weeks and just, let's see the growth. But I would say, look at Company D, though. Their stock price is at 132, which is fantastic for Year 6. So keep it up. Next, we're going to cover page 3, credit rating and image. Credit rating, everyone has an A- except company F has a B-. One part of the credit rating, what I would tell you is don't stress about A or B. As long as within the A and B range, you're not too bad. It's when you get into C. So B-, it's not great, but it's not terrible. So as long as you keep on climbing, and most companies tend to end up with at least an A-, if not just an A, by the end of the simulation. So I think here everyone's okay. Next, we have image rating. Look what we have here in image rating. So I've been picking on company F the whole entire time, but they have the highest image rating. So clearly they were shooting for the best image rating, which they have achieved, but it was at the cost of the other criteria that they have to meet also. So you notice B, C, D, and F all met expectation. A and E did not, but they're within reason though. But great job with company F with the image rating. So obviously you should always be looking at all those reports. I won't cover them all. You want to make sure you cover all of the pages, page 1 through 7 for the camera and drone journal. And then also the other one is the competitive and intelligent report. The very first one I want to highlight here is get the competitive intelligence report, the competitive efforts. This tells you a lot here if you really dig deep. So I'm not going to go through it line by line, but you absolutely want to. So the first thing, price. What jumps out at me instantly is company A is selling the camera for $300. The average is $246. So then I say to myself, well, if you're selling for $300, there better be something special about it. So I go to PQ rating. They have a 5.0 PQ rating. The average is 4.4. So that could justify a higher price. Brand reputation. Everyone has 70. Number of models. Well, E and F actually has 4. Okay. And then so on and so forth. Then you want to just keep on looking at it line by line. And I would say jump all the way down to the bottom to market share. Okay. Well, company A is the highest at 300 for the camera. But then if you look at it for the market share, it looks like company F has the highest at 18.8. So the company that I was negative on the whole time said they need to improve, they actually have the highest market share. But with that said, if you look at gain and lost, they lost though. So it doesn't help to have the highest market share if you're losing money, right? So that's why you really have to analyze these numbers. So let's go ahead and look at the drone segment. So the highest one is company A, 1650. The average is 1317. So let's say, well, why should they be that high? The PQ rating, they have 5.1. So they have the highest PQ rating. The average is 4.3. Okay. Number of models, everyone has basically 2, except one company. Online retailers, everybody has 36. Website displays, that goes up and down. A warranty period, that is different. So on average, everyone has 60, except company D has 360, and E has 120. So there is a difference there. So if we jump down to market share, then again, we have company F with the most market share. So you would assume company F would be doing great to have the most market share in the drone segment and the camera segment. But then again, if you notice though, for gain and loss, they lost 3.4. So that's the difference. I mean, it doesn't matter if you have the most market share if you're not making a profit. So it looks like to me though, if company F makes some adjustments, they could take over the simulation and be ranked number 1. So keep in mind, any company this early on can make some major jumps. I mean, to jump 20, 30 points is not that big of a deal. So this is as far as I'm going to go with the reports. Obviously, I don't want to dig too deep and give away someone's strategy, but I just want to highlight a few items that you definitely want to take notice of. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Have a great week.